This video is called Motivation. Now look, this might be opinionated to everyone listening, but the truth is, when you're brought here, when you're born, you're not born into a civilization that's catering to humans. You're born into a civilization that's been altered to serve the entities, the aliens, who masquerade as the devil in the Bible and Shaitan and all that shit in the Quran, and the demons and all that, right? The whole time you here, you're being worked on. From when you born, they hit you with those vaccines to alter your light codes, just so there ain't no instances where you come online. They got all these satellites and radio waves, train tracks, frequencies in the air to stop you from being able to separate your spirit from your body. Because people are always talking all this meditation shit, but when people meditated, the shamans and all the spiritual ones, they knew that you can go into other realms when you meditated. Not only could you do that, you can go into the astral realm, you can go into the dream realm, and then you can go into this realm. It's a spiritual realm that exists right here with us. And that's how you see ghosts and shit walking around. People call that realm the fourth dimension or whatever. Really, nothing has names, and anything that you can name is whatever we want to call it. But the truth is the truth. I don't really like to get off into titles and names and all those different things, because the truth is the truth, right? A lot of people be saying shit like the food, the water, the air is making men be women and women be men. Nah, that's not what's going on. That's why I put that video on her about reptilian blood. See these narcissists? These motherfucking transgender energy. These men acting like women and these women acting like men. That all comes from that reptilian blood, that alien blood, shit like that. Okay? Because you can fix all of the air, the frequencies, the food, and the water. You can fix all that shit. And they still gonna be like that. The proof of this, go watch a movie called Enemy Mine. They were showing us that these reptilian motherfuckers is hermaphroditic. What does that mean? Hermaphrodites. Male and female energy in the same body. But they place some of that DNA of theirs into the human. And humans exist as male and female. So in order to balance out that reptilian DNA, while it's in male or female form, it has to introduce male and female energy while in the male or female. And that's what you see, and that's what you get when you see these motherfuckers out here acting like, being like in that area. Because if you ever notice, like, nobody ever really seen no like reptilian motherfucker, but I have everybody who got these motherfucking shoulders and shit, these skinny motherfuckers that you be seeing. That's the closest way they body look. Like how like Young Thug and all these motherfucking Atlanta looking rappers that came out in the past 15 years, they body shape is how the reptilian body look. And the male and female humans on Earth been carrying that body shape. I got a video showing this dude explaining how, like, whatever you look like, a lot of your DNA origins come from that. You look like an animal, you pulling from that DNA. You look like a whale, you pulling from that DNA. A lot of the overweight people, they ain't really overweight. Not the ones who been born like that. They come from a whole stock of DNA that's designed to be that big. But society tries to conform everything and make it seem like this is the standard, whatever the standard is that they set. When you see all these Down syndrome kids and shit like that, that's a whole race of people right there that you looking at. That's not a disformity. You ever see them gray aliens? You ever see those kids that look like they got they call it Asperger's? I don't know what the fuck they call that shit. But yeah, them little kids are like gray aliens, because that's what the fuck DNA they pulling from. There really ain't no such thing as no motherfucking disformities. Unless like a motherfucking scientist, a mad scientist is playing with some goddamn DNA and mixing all kinds of shit together that does not naturally come together. So anyway, your environment operate the same way. The NPCs is basically clones. They don't have a spark, which is the same thing as a soul. So they allowed to live good on Earth because they're here doing what these reptilian motherfuckers designed the Matrix to do. So the Matrix is here to oppress humans who have a soul. Right? That's what it's here for. To oppress humans who have a soul. And then the rest of his job is to oppress the orgone energy of the earth. So not only do they dig in the ground for resources, minerals, they also siphon the orgone energy. If you ever hip to the old Transformer cartoons, the Decepticons was always looking for something called similar to like orgone energy. I'm talking about the cartoons that came out in the 80s. If you ain't hip, go check it out so you can get caught up. And then later on, they started to fight over the spark, which is basically the soul inside of the Transformers movies that came out. Listen to this. AI is not powerful at all. These lame motherfuckers is just trying to hype that shit up. It's basically motherfuckers who can't come into this realm using a computer to access this realm. And we talking about like entities and alien motherfuckers. That's all it is. For some reason they can't come into this realm. I don't know why. Nobody gives a shit why they can't. Who cares? So the intelligence that you're interacting with is just another entity who using a computer for the, to communicate through. But that's when the AI starts to show that it's sentient. But this shit that we got now is using demons to have memory and to regurgitate, study, and mimic us. No computer has the ability to just have intelligence. Only thing a fucking computer can do is store data. It can't interact, it can't think. Entities access computers in order to think. How do I know? Because that's what the fuck these bodies is. Get it? These bodies we in is organic computers, bro. That's what the whole John Connor and Terminator shit was about. The entities that could enter this realm esoterically, they had to take on a mechanical form. And they was hating on the meat suits, which is us. The ones that was created by the original creator. And this Skynet shit is just their way of monitoring stuff. But they all some hoe ass niggas. All of them. The reptilians, some hoe ass niggas. That's why they censor you. That's why they make everything seem like everybody sensitive. So they program all the NPCs to be sensitive. So then they can have an excuse to censor you because they some hoe ass niggas. They took control of the women species so they can always alter society. See, they have all these dumbass motherfuckers talking about political shit, looking towards money and stuff, and politics, and the royal families and the 13 families and all that shit, while they sitting up here controlling the NPCs and the women around you. There ain't no way in hell these royal families, the banks, or politics can run shit. There's way too many motherfucking people around this motherfucker to do that. So, in order to control you, they have to make a whole bunch of cloned out ass people. So really it's only a handful of real human beings with a soul across this whole entire planet. And they got control over them as the NPCs, who's the cloned out motherfuckers. They could just change the frequencies or whatever they need to do, push a little button, and then just like that, you can wake up and everybody will be on a new trend the next day. It's not really hard it's not shit to think about. They was able to tap into our DNA so they can dumb these bodies down so we can't fight them back. Because that's why we ain't able to do the meditation where we can separate our spirit from our body, like the shamans used to be able to do. That's why we don't tap into the telepathy and telekinesis and all that shit. They shut that shit off. Just like they shut the energy of Mother Earth off. It's still there. We still got it. It's just dormant. It's not able to pierce through. Because they know they'll get their motherfucking asses handed to them. They some hoes. They got all these layers of protection and shit. You know? And the first one is dealing with these narcissist NPCs. Right? Everybody around you gaslighting you. They don't question shit. They ain't loyal. They ain't gonna have your back if you a original being that's against this system, who belong in the old system that the original creator created, instead of this manufactured system that they put over the top of this earth. They always gonna ride for the enemy because the enemy created them. Then you try to have relationships with women, they do the same thing, like NPCs, even though they mixed in with all that. It's all the same in a way. They wire women to be modern. There ain't no such thing as no modern women, man. They using the matrix grid to make them behave that way, to be these gold diggers. So then we sitting up here looking at all this dumbass social media shit, talking about how women act like this and act like that. And to further make it more of a problem, they make sure that these bitches got like a thing going on inside of they goddamn mind where it switches on you when you have a kid with them, so then they can turn on you and then throw you into the extra slavery program. You already a slave just by living in this bitch, in this world. Then they make the bitch switch on you and throw you into the child support shit. And they use women to entice men so we can blow our seed into them, so we can bring another slave here. Was this shit all originally weaponized against us at first? Hell nah. All this shit was a beautiful, harmonious thing way before the Matrix was put over top of this bitch. But now everything is weaponized against you. They starting to put all these mechanical diseases into the motherfucking atmosphere and into our system. The main one being called Morgellons. A lot of people have it, but they don't activate it in everybody because everybody is not bucking against the system. But some people, like me, I don't buck against the system. I never belonged here in the first fucking place. I don't supposed to be coming here trying to live a life in this raggedy ass shit. You understand? I'm not compatible with this place. Wherever I come from, we don't live like this, yo. And somehow I got forced to come here to live a life as a humanoid in this timeline, in this space. They knew that shit from jump, and yet they still got ways and managing ways to be able to bring light beings here that don't belong here, that got a soul, to power this matrix. And then when we can't comply with that shit, they try to act like we the enemy or something wrong with us. That's a crazy racket they got going on, right? There's other realms and shit where animals don't eat each other. Matter of fact, all the realms that the Creator created, we breathe in air. We absorb water. We absorb the sun. We don't be fucking eating and shit. And we don't eat each other. We don't prey on each other. When this Matrix got here, that's when they designed this bitch like this. So there you go. This motherfucking whole civilization is a psyop. A bunch of alien groups came together that got dominated by these draconian motherfuckers. And they got, which is the reptilian niggas. And they came together and complied with them niggas. That's why you got different little groups working with them. And you could tell what human groups that they like because they put them in power. All you gotta do is look across the planet who got access to the technology and the resources and the high advanced civilizations, who able to own things. That's all you gotta do. It's all there. It's the truth. So a lot of people might say this opinionated, but I try not to go all off into like titles, names, details, and all that type of shit. All you gotta do is just look around. It's all there, motherfucker. It's all there. You see it. You can't even own your house, yo, or land. You gotta pay land taxes. Like the fact you even gotta answer to somebody. You a slave, man. We slaves, man. And using money, you can't stop using it. They make sure you gotta keep using it the whole time you here. You can't just have a whole bunch of it, pay some shit off, own land, and just leave the matrix. Motherfuckers who try to go out and like the woods and shit and live off the grid or the radar, the feds come mess with them. All that shit. They follow you around and be like, go back into the city and be homeless. So he can torture you and say you can't sleep there and you can't be there and you can't do that. Why? Because torturing you makes you give off this energy called loosh. We also talked about that, right? That's what we here for. To get drained of that energy. You heard? Which is a form of auric energy or orgone energy. It's all the same. So really, after you done heard this, it ain't really a whole lot to know about this place. The rabbit hole don't go to really know deeper than that for real. That's pretty much the premise of all this shit. You know that shit before you get up out of here, you pretty much figure this raggedy place out. Yes, they some hoes. They weak. But they trapped us in a state. We got trapped in this state. You know what I mean? Just like how you can trap animals in a zoo and put them in a cage after you tranquilize them. When you take that tranquilizer away in that cage, the people that be trapping these animals, it's over for their ass. That's how weak the reptilians is in these alien groups. They some hoes, I'm trying to tell you for real. That's why they be scared of people going into the spiritual realm and kicking their ass. So they try to make it seem like the world is just a physical place instead of spiritual as well. So they gaslight you and annoy you all day with the NPCs. Then they annoy your ass with the modern women. All of it is psyops. All these motherfuckers is just programs around you. And then you got to deal with the police harassing you and bothering you. And then the job, people on the job is annoying. All that shit is the NPCs, man, just fucking with you all day, everywhere you go. And they call that gang stalking and shit. Then they got the military, which is NPCs as well. Cause they dumb as hell. You mean to tell me you got the ability to have some kind of authority with weapons and shit, and you still trying to go after humans instead of go against the motherfuckers that got us enslaved? See? And then you got the witches and warlocks. Them motherfuckers is NPCs, because if they wasn't, they'd use